perfectly moist, sweet with a delicate coconut flavor. This coconut cake will have you baking every single weekend. Coconut is among my favorite fruits. Is it a fruit? Definitely it's a fruit. So I promise the coconut flavor is not going to be overpowering because I'm going to be using shredded coconut, and the cake is going to turn out perfect. You're going to get started by preheating your oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Next, you're going to spray your loaf tin with baking spray. If you don't have the baking spray, you can spread some margarine and some all-purpose flour, tap out the excess, and the tin will be good to go. But because I've used baking spray, I've also lined with parchment paper so that my cake doesn't stick in the tin. In your mixing bowl, you're going to be adding in 1 cup margarine or softened butter. Then using a hand mixer, I'm going to whip up the margarine for around a minute over medium speed until the margarine is very light. You're going to scrape your bowl and you'll notice that the margarine has turned from yellow to a very nice pale yellow color. So next I'm going to be adding in 1 cup sugar to my bowl, and using my hand mixer, I'm going to mix the sugar and margarine until combined. Scrape my bowl, and then next I'm going to be cracking in 3 eggs. Whip up your eggs, margarine, and sugar for around 2 minutes over high speed until the butter is very fluffy. Then next, you're going to add in vanilla essence, which is going to add in a very nice flavor to your coconut cake. In between, you're going to scrape your bowl to make sure all the ingredients are getting fully combined. And this step is very crucial while baking because it will make the cake very fluffy and soft while baking in the oven. So if you don't have a hand mixer, you can use a whisk and make sure to whip up the butter until very light and fluffy. I'm going to whip up mine for another 1 minute because I want the cake to turn out so good. After 1 minute, I'm going to be adding in my dry ingredients. That is baking powder, salt, all-purpose flour together with my coconut flakes. So I'm going to add in a teaspoon of baking powder, which is going to help the cake to rise while baking in the oven. Also, I'm going to be adding in salt, which is going to balance out the sugar in the cake. So I'm going to add in half a teaspoon of salt. And at this point, you don't need a hand mixer. All you need is your spatula or your whisk. Mix in the baking powder and salt into the butter. Add in half of your all-purpose flour, and using your spatula, you're going to fold in. Add in your milk. Fold in the milk as you add in the rest of the flour into the bowl. Don't overmix the butter because you don't want the cake to crack on top while baking. Also, you don't want to knock out all the air that we created while whipping up the eggs, sugar, and margarine. So I'll make sure the ingredients are well combined, and then I'm going to be transferring the butter to my baking tin. Make sure to scrape the bottom of the bowl so that all the ingredients are fully combined. Then lastly, I'm going to add in my shredded coconut, which is going to add in immense flavor to our cake. And I'm super excited for this cake because yeah, going to be delicious. It's going to be soft and fluffy. So I'm going to fold in the coconut into the butter, and once done, I'm going to transfer the butter into my baking tin. Evenly distribute the butter into the tin, making sure to scrape your bowl clean. You're going to tap your baking tin on the countertop for around 2 times to remove the excess air bubbles in the butter and also to level up your butter in the tin. And then next, you're going to be baking your cake at 180 degrees Celsius for 50 minutes. And to check if the cake is ready, you're going to insert a skewer in the middle of the cake. Once the skewer comes out clear, your cake is ready. So see you after 50 minutes. I'm going to check if the cake is ready by inserting a skewer. Once the skewer comes out clean, my cake is ready. So I'm going to let this cool for around 10 minutes before inverting my cake so that it can cool further. My coconut loaf cake is ready and it's looking super awesome and it's completely cooled. So I'm going to be adding in some lemon icing sugar on top just to jazz up the cake. So I have a cup of icing sugar over here and fresh lemons. And also I have a lemon squeezer over here, which is going to help me add in some lemon juice at a time while stirring until I have a very nice and thick consistency in my icing sugar. Don't add in too much because the icing sugar is going to be super runny. I want some thick icing sugar that is going to coat my cake. The lemon is going to add in a very nice tanginess to the cake, which will make the coconut cake very delicious. Also, I'm going to be adding in some shredded coconut on top just to add in some extra coconut flavor to the cake. So my icing sugar is ready. So I'm going to pour in the icing sugar on top. You can also use a spoon or a palette knife to spread the icing sugar on top. Next, you're going to add in your coconut flakes on top of the icing sugar before the icing sugar is completely dry. I'm going to give my cake about 5 minutes so that the icing sugar can completely dry, so that you can cut through the cake to check out how it's looking on the inside. And trust me, it's going to be very fluffy and soft. I'm going to slice through my cake. My coconut loaf cake has turned out perfect, and you can serve the cake with a cup of tea or coffee, or even serve your guests with this coconut cake and they'll be struck how good and delicious the cake is. Hope you'll be trying out the recipe and catch you on my next episode.